It's the first week of June, and for a lot of people that means two things coming together at the same time: secondary school exams and international football. And both of those had an impact on the weekend action in the League of Ireland this week. We should give a mention here to 15-year-old Gavin McAteer, who made his home first-team debut for Finn Harps on Monday and then started his junior certificate on Wednesday. While we also have players like Owen Kenny at Dundalk and Owen Elding at Sligo Rovers who are sitting their leaving this week. And spare a thought for Sligo Rovers boss John Russell, who was 4 of his squad, and that's a squad that's already missing players due to injury, who are unavailable for Friday night's game away to Waterford because they're doing the leaving cert. International call-up saw players from Bows and Shamrock Rovers, Marcus Poom and Martin Miller, play for Estonia in their heavy loss to Switzerland on Tuesday night. And those call-ups, as well as under-21 duty for the likes of Johnny Kenny, means that the Bows Rovers derby, which is due to be played this Friday as the marquee game of the weekend, is off. So that leaves us with a very unbalanced fixture list for the other 4 games. There's only one top 5 battle, Derry City at home to Galway United. We have the league leaders against the relegation candidates, a bottom 3 clash and a mid-table game. But we look first to Talca Park, where Shelbourne are at home to Dundalk. On paper, this should be handy 3 points for the leaders, but games aren't played on paper. And the issue for Shelbourne this season, to the immense frustration of manager Damien Duff, is that far too often his players play games based on the league table and not on the field. As Duff has said a number of times this year, to his huge frustration, his players have no issue in getting themselves up for a big Dublin derby. Shells have beaten Shamrock Rovers and St Pat's twice and beaten Bows once, but they then drop their levels to what Duff calls the provincial teams. Last week's game at home to Sligo Rovers was a case in point. Shells had enough chances to be well ahead after half an hour, but Sligo were well drilled, had a game plan, took the lead, and even when Shells equalised, Sligo retook that lead. Shells gave up soft goals, very preventable goals, and with Monday's game at home to Bows called off due to the internationals, Duff has had time to work on things on the training ground and maybe also in the motivational sphere to get that attitude right. Dundalk got their first away win of the season in Dublin on Monday against St Pat's, and with Jamie Gullen now finally finding the kind of form that had people about him very excited in pre-season, Shells will need to be switched on here. Galway's 9-game unbeaten run came to an end when they lost to St Pat's, so they do have a bit of work to do as they head north to face Derry City. Derry started off very well in the month of May, but they ended it with a whimper, 2 points from 3 games, though they did show their potential with the very clinical dismissal of Waterford at home on Monday. City have not scored in 2 games against Galway this season, and losing Patrick McAnally for a long spell after he broke his arm in that Waterford win is a huge blow in terms of his impact. But Derry can use the surface to their advantage against a Galway side whose record is admittedly very, very good. The other 2 games on Friday has 4th against 6th when Sligo travel to Waterford and the relegation fight between Drogheda and St Pat's. John Russell really has maximised Sligo's resources of late as they've turned things around after a heavy loss to Bows, and Sligo are the league's in-form team. With the full squad, they could potentially deliver in Waterford, but again, their injuries, an international call-up for Stefan Radoslavjevic, and those 4 teenagers missing because of doing the leaving cert, leaves Russell with a very, very light squad. Morale is an issue for Drogheda and St Pat's in the other game. Drogheda are now bottom after 4 straight losses, and for St Pat's fans it was a huge concern for them to see their team go 3-0 down at home to Dundalk on Monday. Drogheda are wide open at the back, concede far too easily, but Pats also have one of the worst away records in the league. That squad needs an overhaul by Stephen Kenny when the window opens, and these are nervous times for both clubs. That's it for today in our look ahead of Friday night's action, but you can follow all the weekend news and analysis with the Irish Independent and our social media channels.